A while back, I remember I sold my copy of Splatoon for the Wii U, probably because I wanted to buy some Switch games and I just wanted to get that, really valuable GameStop trade-in credit. And Splatoon 2 at the time had been out, so I was like, there's no point in me owning the original on the Wii U. So with that being said, up to this point, it had been a really long time since I played it. And then a few years ago, whenever the Wii U's online server shut down, I was like, yeah, that's probably it for good. There's not really any reason to go back to that game. But then recently I was scrolling on Amazon and I saw a listing for it and it was like $5 or something like that. And I was like, you know what, this could be a fun nostalgia trip and I could probably make a video out of it. So why not give it a go and kind of return to Splatoon on the Wii U just to see what I've been missing out on. It's not that I never played it. I remember I played it for a little bit on the Wii U. I think I originally bought it maybe in 2016, so not a super long time before the Switch and Splatoon 2 came out. But it was a really fun game. It was kind of like Nintendo's version of a shooter with a very vibrant and like colorful tone, as it literally was a gameplay mechanic. For anyone unfamiliar with the format of Splatoon, it's essentially two teams that are on a map with a time limit, and they are trying to fill up the map with as much of their color of ink as possible. You're also able to take out enemies on the other team with a variety of weapons, each kind of with their own unique abilities. It was a really cool game, but the big star of the show, and what I'm going to be talking about in this video, because unfortunately I can't play online with the original game anymore, is the single player campaign. I never played this growing up. I remember I exclusively played just the online mode on the Wii U. I played a little bit of Splatoon 2 and 3 single player campaigns, but I never beat any of them. But thankfully this one is very short, so I was like, alright, I can definitely justify playing through it. And I was really interested to see, after playing through it, is this something that I could make a video about and be like, you know what, this is actually a hidden gem. You should really go out and buy Splatoon for the Wii U, and probably buy a whole Wii U, because statistically you might not even own one, because only like 5 people own one of those things. But unfortunately, I think I had my hopes up a little bit, because it wasn't really that great. I mean, don't get me wrong, it wasn't bad. Like, I had a good time, but the whole time I was just thinking, like, I really could just be playing either of the 2 subsequent Splatoon games right now. A lot of the levels in the original Splatoon single player campaign are extremely easy to complete. There is this really interesting system where you're able to upgrade your abilities, like your weapons, like ink capacity or the firing speed. However, the effects of upgrading this were so minimal that I honestly didn't actually notice it in gameplay. The biggest critique I would add on is that the final boss was obnoxiously long. I never realized this because I never got to the final boss whenever playing it on the Wii U. I think I only played like the first 2 levels as a kid. But the final boss takes an absurd amount of time to beat. And it isn't really difficult to beat either. It's more so just kind of annoying, because basically the way it works is it launches these projectiles at you that you have to shoot with ink before they hit you, and the only thing kind of stopping you from easily doing it is like these beams that it launches at you that you have to dodge in the process. Overall, the final boss is bad, but the rest of the single player campaign is just like alright. And the biggest problem with that is that the 2 subsequent games are, have a more substantial amount of content that you are able to partake in if you are looking for a single player Splatoon experience. Here there's like 15 levels. Each of them are relatively simple and to the point. Don't get me wrong, I mean, it's still fun, just because I genuinely think Splatoon is a fun game to control. Like, the whole loop of spraying ink everywhere, how colorful and vibrant it is, becoming a squid and like sinking down and quickly swimming through the ink. It's fun to control. It's more fun, in my opinion, as a multiplayer game than a single player one. And at that, if I do want to play single player Splatoon, the subsequent 2 games in the series are right there on the Switch. However, let's quickly talk about a few specific levels that stood out to me. Although I didn't like the final boss fight, the first boss fight, which it was called Squish, Squash, Smash, was pretty cool. Essentially, it was this big cube that specific sides of it you had to spray in order to swim up the boss and then take it out on top. It kind of reminded me a little bit of that one boss fight in Super Mario Odyssey against the Brutals whenever they all kind of combine into one machine. I don't know why the third boss fight, which was called Roll with the Punches, was pretty cute. There's not a specific reason why. I think that whenever it turns into like a destruction bowling ball of madness and it's just like charging at you, it's kind of fun. But the biggest problem with this game is that it's hard for me to call out specific levels that I liked because they all were very similar. There was just under 30 total. I think I said 15 earlier. I was just misremembering. It's actually like 27 that I recorded, not counting the boss fights. But a lot of them just felt so similar that like, even though I beat it the other day, all in one day by the way, I already kind of forgot any specific level. It's not like many other games that I play where I can at least recall one level that was like, oh yeah, like that one was cool. I will say what I did like about the single player campaign is that navigating around the little hub area to unlock, you know, the levels in which they would all be kind of like in these invisible platforms that you had to uncover. I did think that that was kind of cute, and none of them were obnoxiously hard to find, at least from my own perspective. Honestly, like, there really isn't that much more for me to talk about with the first Splatoon's single-player campaign. Like, there's just so little going on here. And I don't really blame them too much. This was, at the time, a very new IP. They didn't know whether it was going to be successful or not. So maybe they were just really wanting to hone in on the multiplayer aspect, because that was at the core of what Splatoon was about. And this does make me really curious to come back to Splatoon 2 and Splatoon 3, because while I have played the single players for those games, both of them was a while. Like Splatoon 2, I think I played it like near whenever the game came out, and then Splatoon 3, the same thing, like around whenever the game released. So I don't have a vivid memory of what I think about those single player campaigns. I just think I remember liking them more than I like this one, but this does make me curious, like, coming back to those and seeing how it compares with the first Splatoon game. I just really wanted to document my thoughts on the first Splatoon, because that's the biggest thing I love about doing these videos, is it kind of gives me an easy way to kind of immortalize what my thoughts are and archive them. So that way, let's just say I come back to a future Splatoon game, I'm able to easily see like, all right, at this point in time, this is exactly what I was thinking about my experience playing through the first Splatoon game. It is a shame that I wasn't able to play the online mode. Thankfully, the core of the multiplayer mode is pretty much intact with the two future games. But yeah, like, I really want to say more, but that's the TLDR of my thoughts on the first Splatoon. It just leaves a lot to be desired with the single player mode. And unfortunately, if you've never played the first Splatoon and you already have like Splatoon 3, for example, there really is no reason to buy the first game, especially with the fact that the online is shut down and the single player is so lackluster. Like, you're not missing out on too much. I think Splatoon 3 is just a significantly more fun experience all around. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Feel free to subscribe if you enjoyed the video. It would help a lot with the channel. I do a lot of videos similar to this, like reviews, retrospectives, upcoming content with future releases and stuff like that. So yeah, thank you once again. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And as always, peace out.